Radio Dunedin. Good talk, good music.
I'm just impressed he's got words written about him from Oscar Kitely, the comedian, on the back of his book. Rebel with the Cause.
No funny business. Sir Ray Avery, welcome.
Good morning.
Keeping warm in libraries for a start at the age of 14.
Yeah, well, that's where I got my basic education. I'd go there every day and read the Encyclopedia Britannica, which was rather like Google. That was the Google of the...
Radio Dunedin breakfast duo Owen Rooney and Breffney O'Rourke waking up Dunedin listeners as only they can do.
You're not allowed your licence back until the day after the 12 months expire, so therefore it's over a year.
Fine spells with showers on Sunday with cooler westerlies. Fine, a few showers, cooler westerlies. Monday, Tuesday, I'm afraid, showers, some of them to be possibly sleety.
From New Zealand went over in 1977 is in favour of plans for similar flights this summer. Natural history writer Neville Peat says that's provided the pilots keep to their flight rules.
There's been some confusion about the early meetings and dates. Who was the first to do what is a little sketchy. But nonetheless, it's clear a group including Professor Jack, Donald Toots Mitchell and a growing band of Dunedin radio enthusiasts made history in Dunedin in the early 20s.
The year is 1922. Hi, I'm Neil McAndrew and we're counting down 90 years of broadcasting with Radio Dunedin. The Prime Minister of New Zealand in 1922 was the Right Honourable William Ferguson Massey, and in the world of radio in 1922, in August of 1922, a group of radio enthusiasts met in the Central Mission building, the Octagon, with an attendance of around 150 people. Professor Robert Jack was the guest speaker, and the Otago Radio Association was formed at this meeting way back in 1922.
As radio historian Jim Sullivan put it in his book, An Independent Air, the story of the Radio Otago Association, old age in itself, he says, is no great victory unless it is the sum of the years of effort in meeting goals and overcoming adversity. The Otago Radio Association and Radio Dunedin have indeed met goals, not always easily and not always without crises, as afternoon host Lindsay Rackley, who's in his 51st year of broadcasting, will tell you.
I've worked in radio for 51 years. We've had some very colourful characters over that time, and I've been called out of bed on numerous occasions, but it never worries me. When radio is 24 hour, and when you're managing a group of volunteer announcers who look after the station all through the wee small hours of the night, you expect that. But probably the most horrific incident was when I was called up one Tuesday morning by the Telecom to say that our transmitting site, there'd been a fire there up in Highcliffe, and I said to the gentleman on the phone, how bad is it? And he says, there's nothing left. We were off the air for a week and we had to get a transmitter which was lent to us by the then BCNZ, and it had to come down from Christchurch. It was in a caravan and it had to be towed down by one of our volunteers who had a larger vehicle to tow it down, and we were back on the air again the following Monday nights.
Such as 10 to 2 host Neil Collins' standing in New Zealand political circles, he secures interviews, often before the major networks, with some of this country's most influential decision makers. Weekly contributors to his program include the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition. He doesn't cower to the egos of those he interviews, but respectfully asks the questions he knows his audience want the answers to. Neil, who's in his 55th year of broadcasting, has met some exceptional people in his time.
I was going through some of my old memorabilia the other day, and there's a lot of it. I've got photographs and tapes and things like that I've hoarded over the years. But I'm so glad that I chose radio as a career, because it's opened the door to meeting a ton of people that I may never have got the chance ever to meet. And in celebrities, I guess you start with the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. I even compared their show here in the town hall. Tom Jones, Herman's Hermits, Johnny Cash, Rolf Harris, Billy Connolly, a whole host of people. And as well as that, I guess one or two of the stars from Coronation Street, one or two from the royal family, and I'm sounding like I'm name dropping, but there's just been so many people. It's been fantastic.
Without its loyal band of volunteers, listeners and employees, Radio Dunedin may have been a thing of the past, instead of celebrating its 90th year this year.
So what makes Radio Dunedin so special? I think it's because we give people what they want, not what we tell them they should have. And as a result, Radio Dunedin, as part of the long history of the station, has consistently been number one in the city. And with new staff coming on, gosh, some of the staff around me these days, I've got ties older than they are, but we want to carry on and be number one forevermore in the city.
Radio Dunedin's a really fun station to program because there's a huge range of music to choose from, and so the blend really consists of music starting from the 1950s all the way through to today. And this is just music that everyone knows. I mean, even young people basically can sing the songs from the 50s and 60s. They actually know them, which is great. And I think the other aspect to it is the information aspect. So it's not just music, it's also about talk. And a lot of that talk is local information. So it's really one of the last local community radio stations left in Dunedin. And that's one of the reasons why it's a real pleasure to work here.
So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel.